Hey everybody, welcome back to Monday Night Commentary. It's me, your friendly neighborhood strider, and as you might notice, this is not Monday Night Combat, nor is it Brink. Well, why am I going to play Brink? In fact, this is not even any kind of shooter game. This is a fighting game, BlazBlue Continuum Shift, sequel to BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, and technically this is BlazBlue Continuum Shift 2. This is a version 1.3. It was a patch update that balanced the characters, and unlike Street Fighter IV Yun Edition, you don't have to pay for this kind of balance patch. In Yun Edition, you got 4 extra characters, plus character balance changes, and a host of replay upgrades, but you had to pay for all that, the equivalent of like around $10 or $15. But in BlazBlue, all the patches leading up to the current 1.3 were completely free. All you had to do was pay for the DLC characters, there being 3. Platinum the Trinity, Makoto Danaya, and Valkenhayn R. Helsing. So here we are, BlazBlue Continuum Shift 2, technically, and we're going to jump into arcade mode. Where do I start in this game? Well, first of all, I should start off saying that I really like BlazBlue. I've been following it ever since Calamity Trigger. When it first released, I don't know, 2006 I believe? It released in the shadow of Street Fighter IV, the original Street Fighter IV. And I must say, I was pleasantly surprised with the revitalization of the fighting game genre. And BlazBlue was one of those reasons. I especially got into BlazBlue because when Calamity Trigger released, the first run discs included tutorial DVDs, and they got me into the idea of taking fighting games seriously, not just as some multiplayer game I can play among friends, but as a game that I can take seriously and really get a lot of mileage out by playing it to a competitive sense. Not in a competitive sense in the sense that I'd be going to tournaments, but in a competitive sense in that I really want to win. I really want to test my skills. I want to see the limits of my ability, of my hand-eye coordination, and my, I guess, judgment in playing a one-on-one fighting game. Now, as you might have already noticed, this game has, 13 characters. It has 13 in arcade mode. There are actually, 13 plus 1 plus 3. What am I counting? 13, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is actually 14. It is actually 17 characters total. Those remaining characters are simply not available in arcade mode. But in addition to the characters that I already mentioned, Makoto, Platinum, and Valkenhayn, there's also Mu 12, an alternate form of existing character Noelle Vermillion. And I also want to mention that what makes this game different from Street Fighter IV is the defining chasm between them is that Street Fighter IV fits as an old school game, and this game fits in the school of new school fighters. Now, what do I mean by those? By old school fighters, a lot of games that are described as being new school have multiple mechanics in place that make it a pain in the ass makes the barrier of entry kind of complicated if you've never played a game of its caliber before. For BlazBlue, these kind of mechanics are a barrier, that barrier meter below my health, that adds extra... Oh, sorry, I was distracted by a Taker's super right there. But barrier adds extra knockback to opponents' attacks, so you can try pushing yourself out of their pressure. They also have almost every character in the cast has access to a double jump or an air dash. Unlike Marvel 3, though Marvel 3 kind of still fits in... Marvel 3 still fits in the new school dynamic. The characters just have added uniqueness by not all of them having the same kind of air dash. BlazBlue also differentiates itself by movement. And this is where I mainly draw the line between old school and new school games. Old school games are very traditional in how in their pacing. Positions and spacing is determined mostly by pokes and footsies. Look at Street Fighter 4, you'll see competitive players oftentimes throw out a lot of normals in order to control their space. It also keeps their opponent from simply walking up to them and start wailing on them with their own normals. If Dudley, for example, throws out his forward fierce punch, that one where he kind of dashes forward with his fist out stuck, it has a lot of active frames, and that keeps people from simply walking up and doing whatever they want. That's the primary example I use when I want to define spacing in Street Fighter 4 or old school games. But in BlazBlue, as you can see, Lambda right here, spacing is more dependent on actual character movement, because all characters in BlazBlue and new school games in general have access to a lot of mobility. And while spacing in terms of, I guess, pokes is still relevant. For example, when I play Jin, I throw out his strong attack a lot. The attack where he quick draws his sword out. That one right there. I use that attack a lot for spacing, especially since if I can get a counter hit with that attack, it can lead to very damaging combos, very powerful combos that you can't normally use with normal bread and butter, especially mid-screen. As you can see, there's a lot of jumping around. I'm trying to space with my jumping strong attack, which is that long spacing poke. There's also a lot of text. I guess in Marvel, teching happens teching doesn't really happen voluntarily. It either happens because the combo is failed, and usually you can only guide the direction of the tech, which is happens often in reset situations. But in BlazBlue, you have the option of not only teching in a direction as well as neutral, but you also have the option to simply fall down, which is where a lot of frame traps happen, especially with Tager players. Tager players will try to predict your techs and then will try to grab you with his super grab, which is Genesis Emerald Tager Buster. But BlazBlue I find very enjoyable because of all this movement. It's a very fun spectator sport. Even when Calamity Trigger came out, the first game of the BlazBlue series, which is a spiritual successor to Guilty Gear, by the way. That's kind of important. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh, right. No, I forgot. Anyways. Wait a minute. Oh, right. I was talking about Calamity Trigger. Sorry, guys. Kind of scrambled. It's been a long weekend. That's the reason why uploads haven't been coming very often this past weekend. I had guests over, and I also had a picnic with my girlfriend who lives in the valley, several hundred miles away, I think. At least 3 hours away, cars drive. But as I was saying, even the first BlazBlue in the series, Calamity Trigger, it had spectator and replay in it, to my knowledge anyways. And that really makes, I mean, obviously with it having spectator mode, it defines its ability it defines the fact that it's such an enjoyable spectator game, along the lines of, you know, other new school games out there to be compared. Marvel 3, more accurately, Arcana Hearts 3, also Skullgirls is coming out. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I'm going to get that, and I'll probably be uploading gameplay of that if I can get it. Still don't know when it's going to come out, though. Old school games like Street Fighter 4, King of Fighters 13 is coming out, and I kind of consider that old school. Usually old school games don't have air blocking, they don't have air dashes, though King of Fighters does have rolls, so that's kind of fits into the new school genre. Also, Third Strike is being re-released. That is the granddaddy of all old school fighters. Just punishingly high barrier of entry, but really rewarding when you get to the higher tiers of gameplay. Anyways, here I'm getting into a Hazama match. This is a Midway Arcade Story Point. Hazama, actually, if I upload gameplay later of me playing against Raku17, a regular sparring partner of mine, and actually an actual real life friend of mine that I play often. Hazama is actually his main. Jin is my character. Jin is a very basic character. His drive, the drive character that makes every character unique. Jin's drive is Frostbite. It's basically over-glorified hit stun, basically freezing your opponents, but with the long recovery of most of your normals, you won't be able to capitalize off of most of the better pokes that are Jin's drives. But it's because of his drive that his combos look kind of cool, even though they're simply over-glorified hit stun. You have a lot of combos that cause like mid-air floats, where you can add double jumps, ice cars, knockdowns, as well as, you know, counter hits. Well, I'll get to counter hits later and why I like them so much. But this character, Hazama, Raku's character, his drive is that strange little chain he's throwing out, that kind of snake-shaped chain. Oh, fatal combo. Oh, I screwed it up. Oh well. Out of the way, saying, Hazama's drive is basically a grappling hook, a weaponized grappling hook, and he can use it to pull himself around the map really annoyingly. He can play a lot of annoying keep away, actually. His matchup against the grappler character, Tager, is frustratingly, like, I don't know, 1 to 9. It's really... I've seen really good Tager players just give up in the middle of the match, because the matchup against Hazama is just dumb and one-sided. Now, I mentioned earlier counter hits. Another reason why I like this game so much compared to other games. Actually, counter hit combos exist in all sorts of fighting games. They even exist in Street Fighter 4. The only problem with that is that only like literally purebred pro fighters can pick up on counter hits in Street Fighter 4. If you get a counter hit, you either, like, the only way you're going to do a counter hit combo in Street Fighter 4 is if you know what happened, and it's pretty hard to know considering what kind of shenanigans can go on in a match, what can go through your mind while you're trying to make decisions during the game. I once remembered Daigo being interviewed about his counter hit combos, and I think he just nonchalantly said, it's that sign. You get a sign in the corner saying that you get a counter hit, and then I can start my counter hit combo. Like, that's putting it very lightly, actually, because that counter hit notification is not obvious. It just pops up in the corner, no sound, barely visible thing, barely visible visual cue. All you have is oh, sorry, I got distracted by that missed counter hit combo I got. But that demonstrates, you know, see that a lot in Blaze Blue. In Blaze Blue, counter hits and fatal counters, which are similar, but I'll have to get into that in a separate time. Counter hits are audibly made obvious by the announcer. Also, you get a sort of, also the character kind of flashes. Oh, one hit glitch. Gotta love that. That attack is supposed to hit multiple times, but sometimes in the corner it only hits once, and you get a kind of funny frozen animation. Anyways, as you can see, the announcer announces a counter hit every time. Some people who aren't used to new school games find that annoying, but I love it because that lets me do much stronger combos. In fact, most of the bread and butter in CS2, mid-screen bread and butter combos got nerfed really bad, and most characters need the corner in order to do a lot of damage. A lot of damage being somewhere over 3,000 damage. But if you don't have the corner, counter hit combos also let you pick up on a lot of extra damage, among other things. Also, I mean, you saw right there that blue exclamation point. That blue exclamation point was actually air unblockable unless they used their barrier in order to block it. But basically, from what I understand, well, from Jin anyways, is that I can get a lot of extra damage combos by landing combos on if my target is either crouching or in the air, because just like most other fighting games, there's a lot more hit stun involved if you hit an opponent who is either in the air or is crouching. But if they're standing, you won't get a lot of damage out of your combo, because they won't be in enough hit stun for you to do extra things. Fortunately, this is where counter hits come in. If you just fish for attacks with some of your strong attacks, in this example, me with Jin and his standing strong, otherwise known as 5C. I'll be using Japanese notation from now on, which might be a little confusing, but basically just know that 1 is diagonal back, 2 is directly down, 3 is diagonal forward, so on. That's how Japanese notation works, along with, you know, weak is A, medium B, strong is C, drive is, well, D. Anyways, counter hit combos. You can do a lot with counter hit combos, even if they're in a standing state, because obviously, if you don't understand what it means to have a counter hit, there is additional hit stun added to the attack because you hit them in the middle of their own attack. Excuse me. Drinking water. This might be a long video, but you know, I just wanted to talk really quick about this game and talk about how I'm going to be uploading more videos about this game soon, which will be especially easy considering that this game has a replay theater, unlike a lot of the games we are playing nowadays. Monday Night Combat has none, but Call of Duty Black Ops has one, Halo had it, Street Fighter 4 has replay, but not Marvel. And I just appreciate, people like me just appreciate these goddamn extra things that just make our lives much easier as YouTube uploaders and directors. And yes, it might be a little sudden for me to be uploading this particular video, though. I want to have this video up as a response to one of BUREIBURU's videos when he uploaded that Guilty Gear gameplay a while back, a long time ago now, but better now than never. I am a big fan of BlazBlue, BUREIBURU, if you're watching. But I'm also going to take this chance in order to say that I'm going to be uploading more BlazBlue content. Since Marvel 3 came out, I didn't have a chance to really get on the CS2 bandwagon, and so my skills are a little dull compared to the people who are still on this game. Which is pretty old. Well, it's not a year old, but it definitely is pushing a year at this point. And I'll be sure, for people interested in this sudden upload of BlazBlue, I will definitely upload a beginner's primer to BlazBlue with me in training mode and maybe live commentary if you're interested in it. I'll definitely go into that in order to explain some of the important basics that new players definitely should understand, and definitely go over maybe my own character's specific traits and combos and tips that would definitely help most BlazBlue newbies. I mean, ever since Calamity Trigger, I've played Jin, stuck with him in CS1 when he was painfully mid-tier, and now in CS2 he's gotten a lot of damage potential back, so he's a little better now. Unfortunately in CS2, Noelle is... in case you don't know, in CS1, the top 3 in CS1 were, let's see, Ragna, Lychee, and Bang. All 3 of them had incredible damage potential. That was pretty much unfair. I mean, Ragna's baby's first combo mid-screen is capable of somewhere around 9, I mean no, not 9, that'd be crazy, 3,500 damage for mid-screen bread and butter. He could do that much damage. That is just not fair. And Lychee and Bang were also capable of the same thing, so that Bang had some incredible normals, especially 2A. Hits low, really fast, really annoying to block. Now, those top 3 now in CS2 are much more manageable. They also rely on the corner a lot in order to get their damage, much like most other characters. Hakumen, Jin, let's see, of course the top 3 I've mentioned. Unfortunately, in the change to CS2, Noelle got really, really strong. Apparently, I mean, I haven't been keeping up on CS2 news lately, but apparently, according to my friend Raku, Noelle is pretty much Ragna, Lychee, and Bang from CS1 put together. So she is pretty much painfully S tier. Like, maybe Yun S tier, but at least in CS2, it's not like Noelle is godlike and everyone got nerfs. No, not like Yun Edition, where Yun is so good and everyone got nerfs for some reason in the transition. Lots of characters got... Jin definitely got a few changes, but all those changes balanced out to make him really cool. I mean, hits done to his medium Dragon Punch, which is called Blizzard. It got really good. It opened the door for really good corner combos that made his corner combos just absolutely insane.
Level 3, action! Counter! Counter!
Now I'm getting near the end of arcade mode right now, and I'm playing Tsubaki. I had to do a little editing though, because I wanted to cut out a lot of superfluous matches I lost a little bit because I get caught off guard. But this is Tsubaki right here. The one thing I want to say about Tsubaki is that she has the most annoying block strings ever. It's like so many of her normals. She has so many extra normals that just Gatling being another word for cancel, because most normals in this game cancel or Gatling. It's a staple of the Guilty Gear series anyways. But Tsubaki has so many extra normals that continue to Gatling off of each other. It's just crazy. It's just so hard to figure out when her combos end and when it's safe to push and use barrier and maybe try to punish with some kind of anti-pressure tool, like in Jin's case, a Dragon Punch. Tsubaki is just crazy block strings. Unfortunately, Tsubaki suffers from a little bit of, from my knowledge, she suffers from a little bit of low damage output. But with her assortment of normals, she's certainly still an annoying player that you don't really look forward to fighting a whole lot. Now, I'm not sure I'll ever play Arcade Edition or Young Edition until the 2012 patch comes out. I'm really excited about that because I'm not entirely looking forward to playing against like a huge mess of Yuns and Feilongs. Even though that might be sort of an exaggeration. It might be an exaggeration considering, you know, mid-tier play and the online environment. But still, I wouldn't be looking forward to that matchup a whole lot. But 2012 version promises to be, you know, kind of a sorry letter to the fact that, I mean, Yoshinori Ono himself apologized. Oh, what is going on with Arcade Edition right now? And I really like Blaze Blue because, you know, it doesn't seem as badly imbalanced as that. And, you know, Marvel's got its own thing, you know. I really don't have a problem with any of the characters, except for Phoenix, because she has so many easy mode ways to get out of trouble. It's really annoying. But I won't even complain about the other character, because frankly, you know, Sentinel's not that bad. He's freaking huge. You can instant overhead him. I just wanted to say that BlazBlue, despite being an old game, despite Marvel Free receiving a lot of attention, and despite being a new school game that probably won't get a lot of attention because it's kind of obscure in some senses, I really like this game. You know, and it's kind of like in the same, it's really typical of me to really like kind of the unknown games. Play a lot of Monday Night Combat, play a lot of indie games sometimes. Of course I'm going to play a fighting game that I like, but not a lot of people may have probably heard of. So if you have the chance to get this game, it is available on the Xbox Live Marketplace. I still have the disc version, of course. I still have the disc. This is the disc version. I actually still own Calamity Trigger as well. I can't sell that because I got that autographed by the creators of the game. How crazy is that? And I don't think I'll ever sell it because of that reason. Anyways, look forward to my future BlazBlue uploads. Hopefully I won't get criticized to hell by someone from Dust Loop. This has been Strider Hong. Hope you guys enjoyed it, because I know I did. Later, guys. Enjoy the rest of the game.
苦しいよね。兄さん、今楽にしてあげるよ。いやー、素晴らしい戦いでしたね。史上最高の兄弟喧嘩でした。もしかしてブラコン卒業ですか、如月少佐殿。兄さん、くそ、てるめ。急所は外しておきました。それにラグナさんはそう簡単に死にません。そういう風にできているのです。貴様、ちょっと待ってください。せっかくいい席を用意したんですから。これからとっておきのショーが始まるんです。邪魔するならそっと退場していただきます。何を企んでる。最近は主役気取りの輩が増えてきて、ほとほと手を焼いていたんです。この際ですがはっきりさせましょう。あなた方は観客なんです。この世界のステージにはどうあがいてもあがる。そう、枠別でさえなんだと。それでは主演女優をご紹介しましょう。ノエル・バーミリオンに盛大なる拍手を。ノエル・バーミリオンだと。レディース&ジェントルメン、それでは最高のショーの幕開けです。